Welcome to the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast, where we cover anything related to behavior change that will increase your long-term wellness and happiness. And now, here are your hosts, personal trainer and RNs, Matt and Jenna.
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast. My name is Matt. Usually, you would hear, and I'm Jenna. But she is taking some mental health time. She's taking a handful of weeks off of the podcast. So I'm running this bad boy by myself. Today we have on Derek Benson. I'm extremely excited to talk to him about all sorts of things. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I've gotten to know him outside of YouTube and all the things, and he actually lives here in town. So it's going to be a fun conversation. If you're new to this podcast, we're all about implementing behavior change for your long-term wellness and happiness. So, without further ado, let's talk to the guy. Let's intro the guy. Appreciate you being on, man.
Hey, no problem, man. How's it going, Matt?
It's going. I appreciate you taking the time. It means the world. It really does.
Oh, of course.
To start things off, you just got done with school. It took us a minute to get this scheduled, this podcast, because you were a busy guy.
Yep, I was finishing up my last couple requirements for my MBA. So, I did normal 4 years of college and stuck to it and did a little bit more. And so I finally have my master's degree. I just finished up last week. So I am now a free man again.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. It's a heck of an accomplishment and a long time coming.
Sure.
Yeah. At the top of the show, we always hit you with our gratitude point. This gratitude point is something that is meant to shift your perspective. It can be large, can be small. It can be only important to you, but that's what matters. I'll start it out first in saying that I'm very happy for the basics. I've built myself a little home gym here at the house, and I don't think that you need much to do fitness. Whatever you're going to stick to is the most important thing. And for me, I know that lifting weights, that's just my style. And now that I have the basics and what I need, my life feels like it's falling back into a better rhythm since I haven't had that for, because of quarantine and COVID and everything. So it feels much, 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 much better. I'm very glad for the basics because the basics always work. If you got a gratitude point, good sir, hit us with it. If not, no biggie.
Oh, definitely do. I was thinking about what I was going to actually say for the gratitude point, but I visited my parents last week for the holidays and everything, back in July 4th. But my dad let me know that he is retiring. So I just want to highlight my dad here. Super grateful for my dad. Has always been there for me. And the fact I am just so proud that he's retiring. He's getting to that point in his life where he doesn't have to worry about earning an income or anything like that anymore. Okay. And he's set himself up to have a pretty awesome life the rest of the way. So I'm super proud of him and grateful to have him.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. Well, so let's dive into it. The biggest reason that I wanted to have Derek on was to talk about his journey. Now, this podcast is not meant to highlight what we're about to talk about specifically, but you did have some success with it. You ran through my 30-day full body group challenge. You did a great job, and you it wasn't because of this. This was sort of like your stepping stone. You've been into wellness. You are a fairly fit person, but I think the big point is that fitness is not like your entire life. You're not obsessed with it. And I'm always interested to talk to people that are not obsessed with fitness, that they've made it work for themselves or wellness in general. Because you expect people that are obsessed to make it work for themselves. But the people that aren't, that's what's even more impressive to me. So who are you? Why are you? Backstory as much as you want to dive, and then also into your wellness. How has that started? Where is it at?
Sure, absolutely. Before I go into about myself and maybe how I found this channel and everything and my background, congrats, Matt, on 10,000 subscribers. That's a pretty big deal. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that as of recording this, that happened late last night. So thank you. I appreciate that.
No, of course. And My fitness background is mostly off and on. I was, I guess it could go back to high school when I was just in a weightlifting class, and I
Okay.
learned the basics of like weightlifting, good form, things
Sure.
like that. That was definitely just a great basis of knowledge. I never lifted the heaviest. It wasn't something that I competed in or anything like that. Um, and when I was younger, I just didn't have like really the body type at that point. I was growing really tall. My body really didn't match everything, but getting that knowledge and kind of growing up, I've always been intrigued with fitness, always wanted to make myself healthier and everything. I've always gone in waves of, okay, this is going to be really focused hard on it, and then it will drop back down and be like, okay, other stuff in my life have come up. Maybe I won't go to the gym every other day,
Yeah.
or so on. And I think COVID's a big thing right now where people have maybe fallen off a
Yeah.
little bit. And
Yeah.
I've definitely gone in waves myself
Sure.
during this last 4 months. But when you popped up your fitness challenge, it was very early into the whole COVID thing, maybe a
Yeah.
little halfway.
Yeah.
But I just saw that as an opportunity to just apply myself,
Yeah.
to just work on me a little bit.
Yeah, and you did an incredible job. You finished out all 30 days. And to give you some context, you, the listener, this 30-day full body group challenge it's basically inside of my app, at least 15 people, all sort of trained together through this challenge that presents you something every single day that you're going to be doing. One day it's stretching, one day it's lifting, one day it's cardio, one day it's making sure you get enough water. So if I'm being full transparency, like the program that I've made, I think it's great, but I'll be flat out honest with you that it's nothing that you don't already know. It's basics. And at the end of the day, my program is crap if it doesn't work for you. So for you to go through it and complete it and do what you did speaks to you. So.
And I really liked how easy it was to just pick up. I never felt like any of the workouts, especially in the beginning, was just a hindrance on my day. I could always just jump in.
Yeah.
Okay, good 15, 20 minutes. Let's just knock it out.
Yep.
And check that box off for the day. And I usually did it in the morning just to kind of wake up and everything. But no, it was definitely a good program. I personally throw in more stretching routines. Like I do some yoga on the side and things like that. And that's just part of my routine that I've built up over time.
Sure.
But no, I really like just how easy it was to get into.
Yeah. I've been even more fascinated now since COVID and the quarantine for people that are not obsessed with fitness. I've been so fascinated with trying to help or figure out, or at least just have a conversation to people of like, just start with something small and just stick to it. Like the consistency piece, like we all get it wrong, and myself included at times. We all get it wrong of consistency and intensity, and we think we have to go so friggin' hard, but really and truly it's that consistency, man. Like it's such a, like you said, 15, 20 minutes a day. I honestly believe that it can be even less than 15, 20 minutes a day. It's the consistency piece. So good on you for doing that. Let me ask you though, why do you think you actually stuck to it?
Well, definitely having other people see the progress. There's that kind of in the back of your head. Okay. Other people are kind of help keep me accountable a little bit.
Okay.
But I think it's just something I really wanted to do. I needed to do something with my time. I'm not commuting to work. I'm teleworking. So it was just one of those things where it's like I have ample amount of time. I really wanted to get more into my fitness recently, so this was just an opportunity to do it.
Okay. So you told me that you said this previously. In the past, you've come and gone with fitness and whatnot. Now, do you think that's because life came up, or like you said, like so? Whenever you got done with the 30-day challenge, I had offered you. I really appreciate you going through it. If you're interested, I have a 12-week program, and you're like, look, I know I got school. I'm about to be finishing it up, and that actually wasn't too long ago. Do you think that it's just been that life has sort of gotten in the way?
Some of the time. I definitely think part of it is my life schedule right
Okay.
now. That was the big thing that was hindering me
Sure.
from continuing to doing more and really setting it there. Especially if it was going to be maybe a more time intensive
Oh
process.
yeah. And that's, you know what, I set that question up poorly. I'm sorry. I guess what I meant for you in your history.
Oh, okay.
My bad. That's my bad. So what I often hear a lot of people say is I come and go with fitness. Like I come and
Mhm.
go. Like I'm real good about it for a handful of weeks and then I fade away and then I come back. And like I know that struggle in people's brain of coming and going may almost be worse than just staying out of it completely because you sort of toy with yourself and you're like, oh
Yeah.
man, I'm lazy. So like why is it that you think you've come and gone with fitness?
I think it's also the people I surround myself with. My One of my best friends, Sean, he is totally into weightlifting. Um, he used to train for some competitions and things like that, and he was my roommate in college. So going to university and just walking to the gym with him, and working out with him every day or so, kind of ingrained that just that I can do this. I can work out. I can go to the gym. I can, I don't have to feel embarrassed or anything. And I never felt like, I'm not the biggest guy around, but I could go to the gym and just, I know what to do. He's taught me a lot of great exercises that are, just outside of the fundamental, like squat,
Yeah.
bench press, things like that. So I have information that I can apply. But having him around, who I still hang out with, I go to his home gym sometimes,
Okay.
and having that influence in my life definitely helps.
Okay. Tell me this. So like my brain's going in a billion different directions, which is not uncommon for me. Have you taught yourself things about fitness wellness? Like whenever you've been either in or out, like have
Mhm.
you YouTubed it or tried to figure it out yourself at all?
I think there's different things that I pick up, like just different routines. Yoga was a big thing that I just did on my own. That I just wanted to. I always felt like my hips were a little tight, just touching my toes, things like that. Just felt a little tight, and I was like, oh, I know people don't feel this way if they just stretch every day or
Okay.
so. And the answer is right there. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
Just if you want to get healthier, maybe work out and eat right and stretch and drink more water.
Yep.
It's not rocket science, but
Exactly. No, you're
but yeah, just learning from other people though, and kind of getting those tips and tricks on how to do it is really helpful.
so it sounds like you've mainly learned from other people. Like, have you gone and say Googled or YouTubed some of that information? Because a lot of time what I hear people say is, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I don't know what, and I will admit, I'm not shaming anybody. I get it that it's tough to pick up and start because
Mhm.
there's so much information. But did you ever like seek information from the internet, say, per se?
No, I don't think so. Just mostly people I surround myself with, or
Wow.
maybe catching a YouTube video
Okay.
where a personal trainer I like, and
Okay.
just being like, okay, well, let me do some of their routines and kind of figure it out. Um, Now, I don't have a structured fitness plan. Those are definitely a way to meet a goal that you want to reach to.
Sure.
But I'm pretty big on just making sure that I'm healthy. And if I want to reach that goal, I'll set myself to
Yeah.
do it and reach those goals and put myself on that track. But what I don't want to do is just slip in old habits
Yeah.
or things like that. A big thing in your program was you wanted us to drink water every single morning. Just wake up, start drinking water.
Yeah.
And I've just continued to do that.
Really?
It's just been part of my daily routine. I have a bottle of water. I literally take it out of the fridge every morning and just start drinking it, walk the dog, do all that good stuff. And it's a noticeable difference. It's a noticeable difference. I didn't realize how dehydrated my body could be in the morning. And then when you start drinking that water, you're just like, oh, okay.
How
Wow.
do you feel different? Like how do you feel? You say it's noticeable. How so?
So definitely, I feel like I get more awake in the morning. Like my day starts, and
Huh.
the blood starts flowing. I get some of that hydration back, and then it kind of gets a good step up on the day. maybe a little bit more cognitive of everything going on.
It makes a lot of Go ahead. I'll cut you off. Go ahead.
No, just in the morning, it can definitely be like a cloud sometimes. And it was just so normal for that to just be a thing. I was like, oh, you just wake up, you're a little groggy, it's normal. And then I started drinking water and it was like, went away. And I was like, oh, I was dehydrated every morning.
There it is. There it is. And, and it's like, to me, that realization, I love that. I love that so much. Mm-hmm. And I know not everybody gives a crap about that. Like, for some people, it's just like, drink water, that's the answer. For me, I dive so deep into that, and knowing like that little switch can help you so much. And it lights me up and it makes me happy to know that something so basic that you can do for practically free. Oh yeah, just drinking water can make such a big change, because I think the barrier to entry for a lot of people is, what do I do? What supplement do I buy? What this do I need to get? When it's just one thing that everyone can start doing is just drinking water. And you're so right that every single morning you're dehydrated. So let's say you sleep for 8 hours, you haven't drank for 8 hours. Depending on how hydrated you were the day before, you're extremely dehydrated. So yeah, it makes total sense just drinking a little bit of water, which everyone knows, our body is made up of mostly water when it comes to liquids. Like, yeah, it's so basic. And so, wow, my gratitude point ties in perfectly to this. So right on. So over the years, through fitness, coming in, coming out, and when I say coming in, coming out, I want to preface, like, I feel that fitness, wellness is this peak and valley. And for myself, I'm not perfect with it. I never claim to be, and I never will be. The question is your peak and valley, is that on an upward trend or a downward trend? And I think for you, it's an upward trend. I'm physically looking at you. I've spoken with you, and I know sort of a little bit of your medical history, and I understand you, and you're on that upward trend, and you are overall healthy, well, and fit. But what is it that you think you've struggled with the most, whether that be the mental side of it or the physical side of it, the nutrition or whatever, over the years of coming in and out? What has always been like, that's the toughest friggin' part for me?
Probably actually setting up a real diet plan has been difficult. When cravings hit, I will sometimes just lean into them, and I might beat myself up about that.
Okay.
But I'm trying not to look at it like that too much. I know beating myself up about it really doesn't help the situation. Sure. It's just acknowledging that it's like, okay, well, let's eat a little bit better the next time, and kind of improve the habits a little bit, because habits don't form right away. They take a while, but to fall out of them can be pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, for me, it was just being careful on making sure not to fall into bad habits. Because, I could just play video games, chill on the couch, not do anything all day, and I have no problem with that.
Yep.
But I also know that's not going to make me feel good after a while, and I will feel real bad. And I've hit those valleys, where I didn't do anything, haven't worked out in a while, ate pretty poorly.
Sure.
And just came out of it like, oh, well, this needs to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, I say, like, your peak and valley is on an upward trend, it seems. And those peaks and valleys are absolutely necessary. And, you're not the only person to say that. I've said it, that beating yourself up is very easy. And I think that we all know we should not do it, yet we do it. But you're right, sort of catching yourself, like you said. And the nutrition piece, just to give a quick little context for anybody else that is struggling with it, because it is it's I think the most complicated part. There's just basics. And, if somebody said, like, what would you tell me? If you could only give me one piece of advice nutrition wise, then I would just tell you MyFitnessPal, just to create that awareness of what food actually is, because a lot of people don't know what a serving size is. A lot of people don't, like,
Right.
There's so many routes you can go. You can do keto, you can do this diet or that diet or that diet, but just understand what food is. And MyFitnessPal is just such a good teaching tool for yourself. And anyway, going down a rabbit hole here. So yeah, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. You did a great job with the challenge, but you've done a great job up until now. And you're very self-aware. That's one thing I learned about you outside of the program and then outside of YouTube and all that. You're very self-aware. Where did that come from?
So that's actually something I've been diving into recently.
Okay.
I'm really big on self-reflection. Kind of understanding yourself can help you understand others. And it's not something that I read somewhere and then, let me just start doing this. I think I've always been doing it. I've always been trying to just understand how other people feel and make sure that I'm not stepping on anybody's toes or maybe just making sure I understand their pain or feel their empathy and everything. But in my job, it's in a personal finance department. My whole job is to try and help people with their finances and to get them out of bad situations and kind of set them up to be better in the future.
Okay.
And a lot of that, I feel empathy for people. They'll get stuck in a lot of situations that weren't really in their fault, kind of out of their control. COVID's a huge example.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggling right now, and it wasn't their fault. But I find value understanding people's pain. You know what I mean? It's and kind of like feeling understanding those feelings from others. I don't have to feel it myself. I just have to. I would just like to understand it.
Yeah.
And that really, I think, helps me grow as a person. But that's basically where that's coming from. Long answer.
I love it. I was just sitting here and I was like, I love it. He went down the same rabbit hole I went down earlier. That's awesome. Yeah, man. It's so. And you're right. It's been the same thing for me that I like to think that I'm a fairly self-aware person. But you're right. It's never been like one thing or one book or one, it's like a culmination of things. So, well, good on you. Good on you for it.
And I always consider myself like a work in progress. It's never like, oh, I've reached self-enlightenment, I'm good to go.
Yep.
Like, no, I'm always working on myself, always trying to be better. And that's why I fell into your YouTube channel from Holden's channel.
That was going to be one of my questions. Yeah. How did you find us? Yeah.
But I really enjoyed your channel. Just what you were focusing on. You wanted to focus on behavior change and maybe just self betterment, just improve yourself. And I think your slogan's awesome.
Thank you.
Better than yesterday, everyday podcast tells it all. But no, I love what you're doing here and everything. And I really push that motto myself, I feel like.
I appreciate it, man. That means the world. It really does. Yeah, I was fortunate. I stumbled across it if you haven't heard the story, I sort of stumbled across that phrase whenever I was constantly thinking I wasn't good enough or I wasn't physically big enough or I wasn't lean enough, and it was born out of fitness. And I realized just one day, I was like, God, like, what if I just focused on being better every single day? And so that's how that sort of came about. Well, I'm glad that it resonated with you, and I'm glad that Holden's channel, I'm glad what Holden's doing has led you to us. That means the world, and it's now I'm going on a little bit of a rabbit hole myself, but I'd be lying if I said that. Of course, I've wanted to garner an audience to talk about this, to benefit others, because I feel like I've been given something, and it's my responsibility to pass it on. So I'm glad that it hit you in a good way.
No, for sure. And I love what both of you guys are doing. And I actually, a short story on how I fell into Holden's channel.
Yeah.
I live here in Pensacola, same as you guys, but I was just going on YouTube one day. I think it was 3 years ago. I just Googled like Pensacola YouTubers. I just was like, is there anybody in our town that
I've done the same thing. Yeah.
Is making YouTube channels?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I found, gosh, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was things people in Pensacola say or something like that.
Yep.
And from there, I just subscribed to his video, and then always have like, not super consistently, but always like popped into his channel as the feed like rolls up. And I just saw how his channel has grown. Your channel has grown, and you being a part of his, and then also all these other YouTubers that I had no idea that was in Pensacola just start being a community for you guys. And I love it. I love seeing it. Cause I know it like just seeing you guys and kind of understanding the situation, in the environment here in Pensacola, you guys really come off super genuine. And I know that's because you're genuine people. And I really like that. Because like what you said before, you feel like you have an audience that you're garnering to, and you want to do some good in the world. And that's really respectable, I think, is just my little 2 cents on that. And yeah, hopefully we'll get Holden 100K here pretty soon.
It's coming, man. I'm so happy for him. And thank you for those kind words. I appreciate that. And I can tell you 1000% that what you see with Holden, what you see with Jenna, what you see with Jeremy, Pastor, Prime out of Nexus, Rich, like everybody that you see, it really is what you get in person. It really, really is. I'm so happy for Holden. I'm so proud of him. Like, little spotlight on Holden. I found him as well. I typed in Pensacola YouTubers because I was doing the same thing. You know, it was 2017 that I started looking at YouTube and trying to do something with it. And man, collaborating with other people does so much for your brain, does so much for the channel and all that. But I feel like creators, and not just YouTubers, but like artists or musicians or, you know, people that express themselves in some sort of way, I feel like they're hidden in the recesses of dark corners somewhere, and they're tough to find. And I really, really hope that if you are a creator and you're listening to this, I hope that you'll reach out, because it is my intention to get to know other creators, whether you're large, whether you're small, whether you're just starting. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he was like, I want to do something with woodwork. And I was like, dude, start a channel. And I immediately was like, I want to hop on a phone call with this guy. And there's so much good that is about creating, and you're right. So I say all that to say, if you're a creator and you're listening, please reach out. It would be awesome to get to know you. But back to it. I always ask this question to everyone. There's not a right or wrong answer. And we were just sort of touching on self-awareness. What is your definition of happiness?
Well, one, I feel pretty happy right now.
Okay.
So it's not something I'm lacking for sure. But I think happiness to me is not turmoil in my life. As long as I feel like if I am progressing as a person and other people around me are also happy, like, or at least it perceives me to be happy, I feel like their happiness can add on to mine. And I feel like that is where I get a lot of my joy in life. It's raising others up, raises me up kind of thing, kind of one of those situations.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I would lean into on that.
Yeah, we attract what we are, you know, and yeah, and you're 1000% right. And there is a question that I want to ask, because this is something that I struggled with at one point, pretty badly, and I've improved it quite a bit. But I think a lot of people struggle with this: the correlation money and happiness. I know that everyone has heard that money can't buy you happiness. Have you ever struggled with that at all?
Yes. And I feel like I still do to some sense. Money is always an important thing in your life. And I mean, that's my job, right? I'm telling people, you have to kind of figure your finances out. Finances are super important. It's not everything though. I could make 30K a year, but I could still be happy.
Yeah.
Like I could be happy. It's my happiness isn't tied to the money. Would I enjoy more so I could do more fun things? Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't look at it as like money equals happiness. It's more life things like friendships, going traveling up to places, or doing experiences with friends and family, that can build real happiness.
Yeah.
And you can do that with money.
Yes.
And definitely easier to do those things.
Yeah.
I think there is a study where there's a correlation between like your finances and happiness up to 75,000.
Yep.
Don't quote me on that. I've heard this a couple different times.
Yep.
But after that, it's diminishing returns, and it doesn't really add to your happiness after that point, because at that point you're just buying extra things usually. Now that doesn't mean you can't make 200 grand and not be happy.
Right.
You absolutely can. But it's not because of the money you're happy. It's because of your life choices.
Yep.
So it's like people think you can solve your issues with money, and you can probably solve some issues with money.
Sure.
But that's not going to solve all of them.
I've heard that too, and I feel bad that I'm about to throw something, because it drives me nuts when people are like, I heard this statistic once with no sort of reference, but I've done the same. I'm going to do it too. I've heard that it's somewhere in between 60 or 70 is that first level, and that's like sort of survival, depending on where you are, obviously, like cost of living and all that. But there is a number that is like survival, and then after that, there is this level of like comfort. But beyond that, and I think that number is 100 or 120,000, beyond that, there was zero bit of happiness. Like $1 billion, 100 billion changed nothing. And what's interesting to me, we're going on a bit of a rabbit hole of money, but this is interesting to me. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, that you know how you hear that, and it seems to be like famous people out in Hollywood and stuff like that, how they have all this money and they have all this fame and all this that's going for them. And then somehow something happens, they start doing drugs or whatever, and they quote unquote throw their life away, and how people just don't understand it. But, and I can't say that I understand it. I've never been there, but I've always thought about that and been like, can you imagine never having a price tag on something ever again?
Yeah.
Can you imagine just people forever treating you differently? Just your life changes with that amount of wealth and the fame too. But I say all that to say, like, the people that have that much money and they go off the deep end, or whatever people want to say about them, like, it's obvious that there was a disconnect. There was that not understanding. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody. I have no idea how I'd handle it with that much. But I don't know. I guess I've always looked at it a little bit differently than people just saying, I don't get it. They got millions. Why are they not happy? Like, it makes sense why people go off the deep end.
Oh, it does. No, for sure. And it's pretty consistent. You can see it with a lot of famous people, especially child actors.
Yes.
Don't handle it well.
No.
And I mean, that's if you wanted just a vision test just to see, like, can you see how that affects people? That's it, right? It's you're young, you get all this money, and then your values are all messed up because you can't value things the same as normal people do.
Yeah.
It's not going to help, not in the long run. Now, what is going to help is making sure you kind of understand how finances work and not overextending yourself.
There you go.
I deal with people all day that have overextended themselves. They have too much credit card debt. They bought a new car, probably should have bought a used one.
Yep.
Just simple things that they don't do that have really cascaded debt over their life, and that can ruin your happiness. Worrying about debt and losing what you've built, that can be a real turmoil in your life. So if there was anything I would say to people, is it's okay not to understand everything about finances.
Yeah.
There's if you're working on a retirement, you can always talk to a financial advisor or something along those lines. But understanding basic personal finance skills can be life-changing for people. And there's plenty of resources on YouTube and other websites if you ever wanted to learn a little bit more about personal finances and just the pitfalls in life, because there's a lot out there. Financial institutions are there to make a profit.
Sure.
And how they usually do that is with fees and interest and things
Yep.
like that. So if you can dodge those in your life, it can just be a little bit easier.
Yep.
So,
We had an episode where Jenna and I talked about how we got in and out of $30,000 of debt within
congratulations.
a year or two. Well, thank you. Yeah, but you know what? The reason was because we started to finally understand what our income and outgoing expenses were, and No, I don't hate to do it. This is my own podcast. I can say what I want. I was about to say I hate to do this, but to me, that correlation of the same thing with calories. Like, I want to lose weight or gain weight or whatever. It's the same thing. Knowing what your budget has to be with calories, it's the same thing with your finances. If you don't know what your budget has to be, if you don't know what you're making per month, per what you're spending per month, like, you're lost already. And I think there's also, like, for the people that are crazy about budgeting and have all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed, I think then the direction, and I'm no financial advisor, I think then the direction you have to figure out is, like, how you're making your money. Like, are you happy doing it? Like, I think that is so underlooked. And even in my own life, it was always, I never had somebody telling me, are you happy doing what you're doing, making this money? Are you happy? And it's, I don't know, just putting happiness over money.
Yeah, no, if you got 2 job offers, one was a job that paid 10 grand more than the other job, but you're not going to like that job as much as the second job.
Yep.
I bet you most people still pick job number 1 because it has more money in it.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty consistent. There's reasons for that. But a lot of that is because people correlate money with happiness.
Correct.
And it's just not true.
It's not.
Not on a big level.
Nope. No, I agree with you. And I think that's a societal thing. I think it's, we are in a culture that is more, fast. And I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever.
Oh, no, of course.
It's just, it is what it is. So, when you're born into that, and it's almost like a form of brainwash, unfortunately. So I tie all that back in to say that's why that self-awareness piece about you, that quote-unquote self-improvement piece, once you start down that road, so many light bulbs tick on. And I hope that you, the listener, you, the viewer, I hope that makes sense. And I hope that for you found something in this episode that helps you start down that self-awareness piece. And in closing, I did want to ask you, because this is something, excuse me, in closing, I did want to ask, this is something that I want to start doing more on the podcast. I wanted, if you have anybody that you do follow on Instagram, on YouTube, on anywhere that sort of helped you or benefited you with fitness, wellness, or self-improvement, plug them by all means. If there's ever been somebody where you're like, that was good stuff. Has there ever been anybody like that?
So yes, there's actually a personal trainer friend of mine here. I don't know what his Instagram is exactly. Let me pull that up real quick.
Sure.
His name's Jake Horn, and big friend of mine.
Cool.
I used to live in Germany, military family. So that's where I met this guy, and he's just been a close friend ever since. And he's a personal trainer now, doing great.
Heck yeah. Is he is he still in Germany?
So no, he's actually in the States now, but he works for a gym as a personal trainer, and they were all laid off, due to COVID and everything. Yeah. And he had to pivot a little bit, did some Zoom classes, started to pick up there, but yeah, he's doing great now. Let me just pull him up.
Yeah, you go ahead. Jump in whenever you find them. So guys, the reason that I wanted to do this, the reason I'm going to start including this is I always want to just basically spread what has benefited somebody else. So I never want this to be like, well, I'm Matt Lane Fitness and you should learn from me and that's it. That's total crap, because I might not speak it correctly. Maybe somebody else has just the right tone of voice, and if it gets the message to you, that's what matters. Go ahead.
So it's going to be not fake Jake _
Not fake Jake _ I'm going to look him up.
Do it, man.
Why? So, and again, why is it that, was this the guy that you had been learning from, your friend that you were talking about?
So no, that's actually a different friend.
Okay. You got a lot of friends.
I have a couple friends, but no, I actually did a couple of his Zoom classes during all this COVID stuff, and it's been really fun.
Awesome.
And I just want to give him a little shout out.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll look him up. And yeah, guys, check him out. Check him out. This was 40 minutes have already flown by. This was awesome.
Super fast.
Yeah, right? Good conversations always fly by. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. Is there anything that you want to say in closing?
I do want to let everybody know it's not happening just yet, but I am making my own personal YouTube channel. I have it up. Yes. And I just want to give people a little insight on personal finances. And I really hate seeing people misstep on simple things. So I'm going to try and put a little good out in the world, little helpful advice, take it or not, but hopefully you won't need it. But if you do, hopefully that channel can help you out a little bit.
Oh, dude, I am so friggin' excited. So I actually didn't mention it because I didn't bring it up to you before the podcast. Like, hey, did you want to talk at all about, because I remember you were talking about you were wanting to start something. So that makes me so excited for you. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to throttle my excitement for you and me messaging you and being like, hey, man, how's the progress of it?
Totally do it. Help me be a little bit accountable.
Okay.
I've gotten some notes going. I've started some things in process. I was really wanting to do this for a while.
Okay.
Especially with work ramping up with COVID and everything like that.
Okay.
I really just wanted to put a little bit more good out in the world. Life, aka school, has slowed that process down. But now I have some free time, and I think this is how I want to spend it.
Awesome. Well, so obviously the channel's not started yet.
So I do have the channel up, but it's actually an old channel. I had some time lapses and things like that. I definitely delve into some creative arts before.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna pick it up from there and see what I can make.
Yes, I can't wait. Well, put it this way. If and when it gets up and running and you want to, if you're comfortable with it, just let me know and I'd love to plug it because this will be in playback forever, essentially. So I would love to push that. I always want to encourage and respectfully push the hell out of whoever has the gall to want to do something. So I'm so excited and happy for it. That just made my day, bro. I'm really happy about that. This has been a damn good episode, as I knew it would be. We've talked outside of here, and I can't wait to meet you in person. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just waiting on this.
One day.
Yeah, one day. Just waiting on this. I have so many grand ideas, and like I want to meet this person and this person, and I always think, well, it's COVID. We got to do the right thing first. And
we just gotta respect it for a little bit.
Yep.
No, I always thought, I was like, man, why doesn't Matt just do like Pensacola workouts or something, just have just a meetup where we're all just doing workouts outside? But like COVID, I get it. COVID.
Yep. Well, dude, this is awesome. I truly appreciate it. I really enjoyed you. I appreciate you taking the time.
No, of course, man. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Guys, I didn't mention this at the top, but if you want to watch this podcast, you can see it. There's going to be a link in the description below because this is the BTYE podcast on YouTube. And that's actually growing. I appreciate y'all going over there. It's a little over 400 subscribers. We're trying to get it to 1,000. That way we can do a few more things with it, but it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of growth. I know that Jenna hasn't been on the last few podcasts, and we've been doing a little bit of recycling of some content from the Matt Lane Fitness YouTube channel. We're really trying to balance things out, keep our mental fitness at the precipice. I'm terrible at that sometimes. I was actually talking to Holden and Jenna about that before we hopped on this episode. I just want to let you know that we love you. We appreciate you. Your support means the absolute world. We will keep the content flowing. We will put our mental fitness first. Yeah, this has been awesome, man. I will talk to you soon. Guys, we'll talk to y'all next week.
This has been the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast. We want to thank you for listening and invite you to subscribe to the show as well. And follow Matt Lane Fitness on YouTube. Until next time, you don't have to be perfect. Just be better than yesterday, every day.
Heck yeah, man.
Dude, that was so good. I'm so happy for you. Holy crap.